Hi, this week's tip of the week is tools. So I think it's important that everyone do their best to try to make their own tools rather than purchase them. You're not going to sculpt any better with another artist's tools, I guarantee it. So all you're really doing is filling the pockets of someone else, who probably had those tools made, in China or something, and now they're being shipped over here. He had them made for like a penny a piece, and now they're charging you $12. So what I suggest is that you make your own tools, and I'm just going to show you a few of the tools that I've made. This one I used a Cracker Barrel cheddar box. Sometimes they come in those little wooden boxes, and I've got a collection of those, and I actually make all of my sculpting tools, basically from that material. So as you can see, it's kind of got that sharp on there. Okay. I also have diagrams and patterns and things like that in the books that I sell that show you how to make your own tools and to try to make you as self-sufficient as possible as an artist. So we've got things like the knife tools or spatula tools. Got double edges on double ends on them, so that you can do kind of like do more things with one tool. Loop tools, so you can use those to smoothing down projects. Got here a rake tool, and as you can see, it's just a bit of wire that's essentially been wrapped around another piece of wire. So and that comes in handy for knocking down, like in the blocking stages of sculpting. I even have littler ones. I don't know if you can see that. I'm gonna try to get it into focus. Right, it's not gonna work, but it's exactly the same thing as the one I just showed you, only smaller, and it's got a dual end. I do have an even smaller version of that. It's I kind of call it my micro. Get it cleaned off. So it's even got a smaller loop. Like if you were to compare all these loops together, it's got a much smaller loop, and that's actually the rake side. Sorry, this is the loop side, and the rake side is the same as these. So you can kind of see those. It's really just a wooden dowel and some extra work on your part. So. But a set of tools like this could cost you almost like $15, and you just made it with spare material at home. Chip brushes are a great tool to have, especially when sculpting. I call these modified chip brushes because all I've done is cut the bristles short so that it makes it a little more stiff. This can help you with painting to get a speckled look. It'll help you knock down some of the really harsh stuff on a sculpture that you need to get knocked down really fast, especially using wet clay. But it also works on oil-based clays with the proper solvents. So next, one of the other things that I make are armatures, and this guy is a resin cast armature, and you'll notice I removed the ears. The originals, some of my students were getting hung up on them. Their molds, so I just cut them flat to make it an easier piece to use. So don't invest, in my opinion, in those shitty polyurethane cast armatures, especially if you're just starting out. Make sure you get a good resin armature, or make one yourself. The reason being is when you're just starting, sometimes you get a little overzealous, or when you're trying to demold your sculpture, and in that zeal you're putting maybe a little more pressure on it than you need to. And sometimes the vacuum of clays, especially clays like wet clay, the vacuum, the suction that it causes while you're trying to demold those two can actually rip that armature apart. I've seen it happen multiple times. It even happens to resin armatures. So, it's gonna happen, but at least you're safer with a resin armature because it's got a little more it's got a lot more strength in it than a polyurethane armature. And if you just spent $70 on a polyurethane armature and had it disintegrate on you, that was a one-time use, $70 plus shipping, and you got one use out of it. I mean, that's unacceptable. So I've had these ones around for years. My students use them when I'm teaching classes, and there is nothing there's no more harsh situation to put an armature in than to give it to a student. So it's survived, or they have survived many students over the past 10 years. So get a good armature, and also make sure you have a good turntable. And when I say good turntable, it's something that you can make yourself. A couple of pieces of plywood, and in the center is one of those Lazy Susans. It takes a little bit of work, not much. The plywood is probably laying around your house or your garage. Make use of it. I mean, it's probably going to get thrown away anyway. So, anyway, so that's my tip of the week. Do your best to make your own tools. Definitely build it before you buy it.